Hello everyone, this is John Corey Jackson and this is another Everyday Living with John video. This channel is all about sharing with you faith-based and biblical principles that you can apply to your everyday life. So today in this quick video I want to talk about the parable of the talents, and there were a few things I want to point out to you guys that makes this stand out a little bit more for me, and maybe it will do the same for you. Very familiar parable that Jesus used to illustrate the kingdom of God, and he does this a lot in the beginning Gospels of the New Testament. So he'll often use a story or something like that in order to illustrate a moral or a lesson that we could take away from it, even as believers to this day. And let me share with you a few things that I picked up on about the parable of the talents, and I think these will come in handy for you. So, of course, the parable of the talents is a master goes away on a long trip. He entrusts 3 of his servants with talents. And one of the things I didn't know about talents, it is approximately, and this is according to my study, it is approximately 75 pounds worth of gold. So a talent is 75 pounds worth of gold. It could be lots of years of a regular day worker's wage. So that popped out for me, that the master entrusted so much of his talents to these 3 people. So he gave one 5 bags. He gave another 2 bags, and he gave another 1 bag. I don't know if it says silver here, but either way, a talent, from what I've studied, in gold terms, in terms of gold, is 75 pounds. So I don't know how much the measurement will be in silver, but in terms of gold, from my study, it is about 75 pounds of gold, and it can be up to 20 years of a normal person's working wage. So obviously this master is very, very wealthy. So he gives one 5 bags, he gives the other 2, and he gives the last person 1. So he gave it out in accordance to their ability. So each person was given the measure according to his or her ability. So that is one thing that God does for us. He gives us based on our ability. So he won't give us anything that we're unable to handle. Now, very important part right here. So the servant that received 5 bags earns 5 more. The servant who received 2 bags earned 2 more. But the person who earned 1 dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. So of course the master comes back, as we see here. And this is coming from, of course, Matthew 25. The parable starts at 14 and ends at 30. So master returns and he wants an account for what happened to his talents. And that's just like us. God expects a return on the gifts and talents and things that he gave us. So that is our big challenge, especially living in this world today. We have to make sure that we're returning investment. We're using our gifts and talents in order to edify the kingdom of God and to draw people in. So that is our main goal, of course. So the master comes back from his trip, from his journey, and he checks out what each servant did. Of course, he says the servant whom he entrusted 5 bags of silver came forward with 5 more and said, Master, you give me 5 bags of silver to invest, and I've earned more. Master was full of praise. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. And he gets a chance to celebrate with the master. So whenever we increase the investment that God poured into us, we get to celebrate His joy. So the joy of the Lord is our strength. So the more joyful we can make our master, the more strength we're going to have for the time of adversity and testing. And the person with 2 talents earned 2 more. And he's given the same message. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount. So now I will give you more responsibilities. So whenever we're given more, whenever we give, especially as children of God, more is demanding of us than normal people and than most people. So we have to make sure that we are doing the right things with our gifts and talents. And the more that we use our gifts and talents, the more responsibilities that we're given. But I think that is twofold, because God is not going to pour into us more responsibilities and more things to do for Him and not equip us for those things. So we can take comfort in that. Then it comes to the one person. The one person said, Master, I knew you were a harsh man, harvesting the crops you didn't plant and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. I was afraid I would lose money, so I hid it in the earth. Look, here's your money back. And the master goes off on him. You wicked and lazy servant. If you know all of this about him, why would you not do anything to give him a return on his profit? And he even says, if you even would have just put it in the bank, you could at least got some interest from it. So this guy hid his talent, sat on it, and expected his master to be happy with the result. And that often is a reflection of us. How many of us, and I'm talking to myself because I know I'm guilty, how many of us are sitting on things that God has given us to do? We're sitting on gifts, we're sitting on talents, we're sitting on instructions that God has given us, and we're hiding it. We're not going forward in anything. We're just hiding it and expecting God to be happy with us just meeting status quo. So let this be a lesson to us that never hide what God has given you to do. Never hide your gifts and talents, especially if you are able to glorify God. You're able to edify people, and you're able to add to the kingdom of God and the kingdom of men. So let that be a lesson to us. And here's what the master does. The master took his money, took this talent, and gave it to the one with the most. And yeah, that's only right. That's only right that the servant would have what he didn't do nothing with, taken and given to somebody else, and somebody else bears fruit off of it. So lastly, it ends here. To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. Now throw this useless servant into the outer darkness, where there will be any weeping and gnashing of teeth. So let this be a lesson to us, not to just hide our gifts, sit on our gifts, sit on the things, the instructions, and sit on the words that God has given us. Let us act, and let us act accordingly. Everybody, whether you're not in the kingdom of God or not, whether you're not a Christian, all of us have a gift and a talent that we're able to use to edify and build up the world. That is what all of us have a chance to do on this earth, and we should do it, because there's, like it says here, there's a chance that whatever we don't use will be taken away and given to someone else. So really, really good takeaways from this. I didn't know the talent was that much. It's about $20, about 20 years worth of a regular person's wage, which is a lot. So you see the urgency, and why the master has such urgency because it's a lot to handle. And just use this, and I was able to use this as well. Just use it as a reflection of your own life. What things are you sitting on? What things am I sitting on that we can contribute and multiply in the world? Or whether it's sewing, you sew well. Whether it's cooking, you cook well. Whether it's whatever form of or a talent, whatever form of a gift or talent you have, make sure that you're using that gift or talent to edify the world. And by edifying the world, you're going to be able to draw people into the kingdom, whether they're Christians or not, and you're going to be able to glorify God in your work and with what you put your hands to do. So thank you guys for checking out the video, and be sure to study your word. And it opened up to me, and I hope I'm explaining this correctly, but I think it just popped out to me the amount that the servants were trusted with. And in return, that is what we are trusted with. Not necessarily 75 pounds of gold or whatever, but we're trusted with a lot as children of God. So let us be cognizant of that and be mindful that we are only to do right by what God has given us. So thank you for checking out this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you felt like you got value from it. I hope you did. God bless you, and I will see you guys in the next video.